with a sample size of 11. I'm just going to copy and paste that, see if that works. Oops. Okay, so the rent per month is equal to minus $399.25 plus 2.53 times the square footage. So the first thing they ask about is the y-intercept. Now, does it make sense to have an apartment with 0 square feet? No. So the y-intercept is not relevant in this example. The slope is 2.53. So if the slope is 2.53, and I'm going to write that over 1, that's equal to change in y over change in x. And y is my rent, so it's change in rent. That's an R. Over change in square feet. So what I say is, as square feet increases by 1, the rent will increase by $2.53. Can you see that or not?
It's fine enough for me to read it. I'm reading it as you go.
Okay, well, I'm taking all the screenshots, so I'll post those as soon as we're done. Okay. Then the last question says, compute the predicted rent for an apartment that's 500 square feet. So we use the line equation. The rent is equal to negative $399.25 plus 2.53 times 500 square feet. So we'll multiply 2.53 times 500 first. And then I'm going to subtract 399.25, and I get 865.75. So that is our predicted rent when an apartment is 500 square feet. And the last question asked you for the residual for the apartment that is 500 square feet. Now we know the residual is the observed minus predicted. And for the observed, you want to look in the data. If I go look in the data table, excuse me, I don't want to do it because all this is going to disappear. So if I go look in the data, then the rent for the 500 square foot apartment was $650. So that's just the first part of the data. And then I subtract my predicted 865.75. And the predicted comes from this calculation. So the predicted you calculate, the observed you look in the data. And when we subtract that, we get minus 216.25.
Where did you get 650 from?
650 is from the data set itself. I'll show you in a second, but this is all going to disappear when I do that. So I want to see if you have any questions here before I go show you in the data. No questions? All right, so I'll show you in the data. Let me move this over. The first apartment has a 500 square feet and it's $650 for rent. Okay, so that's where the observed and predicted come from. The observed is from the data, predicted you use the equation. Any questions?
And for C and D, do you use the graph that you're going to give us?
For
find?
C and D, let me look at it. So for C and D, it comes right off of StatCrunch. So the graph is here from StatCrunch. And for C, the equation is right from here. Let me write. This is the equation right here. So that's the regression line equation. So for, that's D. What's the regression line equation? For C, it asks for the correlation coefficient, which is here, and then you compare it to the table. And you can either use the table that was in the PowerPoint, or I'm going to post one in your site in a couple of minutes when we're done. Any other questions? Well, that is it. That's all the new stuff we're doing this semester. We're done with new stuff. Woo. Yeah. So now it's just catching up, taking the final. I'll have a practice final for you next time that we'll work on. All right. Are there any questions? So there's 2 homework sets and a quiz for this, this chapter. Try to get the homework done before next time, but if you don't get the quiz done and you want to wait until we go over things, that's totally fine. All right. And if anyone needs to talk to me about other stuff, I'll stick around for a little while. If anyone has questions about other material, I think most of you guys are pretty caught up. Or if you need to make another appointment or anything. Are we good? All right. Sounds good.
Bye, peeps. I'm out.
Take care.
Bye, thank you.
You're welcome. How you doing, Peter?
Doing all right. Same old, same old.
Yeah.
No complaints yet.
They still have you working, huh?
Yeah, I lucked out. I didn't get laid off, so I didn't realize that was going to be a thing this past week.
Yeah. Well, I talked to, oh shoot, what's her name? Tracy. She
Yeah.
was laid off, but she said she purposely didn't give me any tutoring hours so that you guys get all the hours. Because technically I'm supposed to tutor 2 hours a week,
Right. Okay.
but she's not giving me any hours. I said, just slip me under the radar and they'll forget about me. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I mean, I think I lucked out because, well, I have been working at BCC for the past like 4 or 5 years anyway.
Right.
So I lucked out because of that, but I think I also lucked out mostly too because of being an SI.
Yeah.
I think that's what gave me the extra leverage. I mean, I was getting tutoring appointments for math. Like I had an appointment yesterday that like literally went 4 hours pretty much.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Only because like I know it's hard. So like this one person, I had her for 1 hour, but I was like, I technically would work. I mean, I had availability till like 3, so I was like, if you really want, you know what I mean, we can go on and like I'll help you. Like it's either I would have worked or not worked, you know what I mean? But
Right.
I'm just gonna be staying home doing nothing or whatever my normal chores. So like I said, it's like I understand it's like tough to get appointments. So it's like I'm willing to work with people and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
think there's also a lot less math tutors, so that helps.
Yeah, and that too. I think I came to the subject material as well, like stats being one of them, and then math, of course, is like for some reason is way more essential. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
writing, English writing definitely like is essential. But all the other stuff like science, it's kind of tricky to tutor that stuff and find a lot of people that are available, you
Right.
know, and so when there's not that many tutors, even if they've already taken the class, like I don't know, and knowing that the whole tutoring system right now is still kind of like, I mean, for drop-ins, I haven't had a single person come in for drop-ins on my Tuesdays.
Well, personally, I don't think they've marketed it at all. Like
Yeah,
they haven't told the faculty these are when the drop-in hours are. Remind your students.
yeah,
And students don't go looking for that unless you suggest it to them.
exactly. And I think the only way they can get into the drop-in, if I'm not mistaken, is if they reach out to the Learning Commons
Right.
desk to get even the link. Because
Right.
I told one of my students, I was like, oh yeah, like I'll show you right now, and I thought she was gonna have like the same setup as I did when I
Right.
could when I could look for my own drop-in room, and I was like, oh wait, you don't have access to that? And
No.
in my head, I'm like, of course nobody's really coming in because who really wants to take their time to meet with their Learning Commons staff
Right.
and
I
like,
mean,
hey, can you just
there should be just like a Google Calendar they can go click on. Boom, they're in the room.
yeah, exactly. So I think they just kind of screwed that up.
But I'm just not thrilled with who's running it right now in terms of how she's running it. And I don't know why. Like there may be other circumstances where she's not allowed to do what she wants to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
they got rid of so many people at BCC before that people are doing like 3 jobs. So,
yeah.
it's just too bad. But
I know. And then I spoke to Tracy yesterday, and I think there's like a little petition going on. Um,
yeah,
so like the sign, like the petition, like to, I don't know if it'll work or do anything, but you know what I mean? I signed it to like,
yeah,
show some support. I mean, it would affect me too, you know what I mean? Like, I know I'm not like a teacher, like, so it's like my job would be on the line too if I wasn't an SI. So like, I can
right.
understand how it affects the others because another tutor that I spoke to, that's his only source of income. He is a student, but at the end of the day, like it's also part of his